Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Shandelee Music Festival. I have to say we're blessed in many ways. I'm blessed to see you in our audience after 2 years. We're blessed to have world-class jazz artists to be here. I'm blessed to have a fabulous staff who has stuck with me during all of this. And I'm just so happy to present music for you tonight. First of all, I'd like to introduce our house manager and our youth and outreach program director, John Bernstein, who has been doing a fabulous job. John.
So be sure to tell your friends if you like what you saw here tonight. Be sure to tell your friends to listen into the rebroadcast tomorrow. The other exciting thing that happens with that is interviews with the artists. You actually get to hear from the artists that you see up here tonight. hear a little background into these projects and into the music that they're playing. So please go check that out tomorrow at noon on WJFF Radio. All right, so I would like to then introduce our next act. Our videographer and just engineer extraordinaire, Hugh Sung, who's going to tell you a little bit about the live stream and recording of tonight. Thank you, Hugh.
I forgot to tell John that the microphone's over here, so we didn't hear anything you just said. No worries. Good evening, everybody. So I want to have a special thanks to this amazing group of musicians, and specifically to Randy over here. Randy's actually a recording engineer. These are all their mics. I don't have enough mics like this, and thank you guys for bringing your equipment and for all of your cables and stands and just collaborating with us to put this this is the most complex show we've ever put together, not just in terms of the musicians here, but in terms of technology to capture this amazing music and the performance that we're going to be streaming through our new virtual online performance series. By the way, I just heard from my partner in crime, Brendan Golly, we have sold the most virtual tickets for this show. So this is great. The trend is moving up. And in fact, the demand is so high, we're going to push back because a lot of people were complaining, when are we going to get the links? When are we going to get the links? We had set it for 10 minutes before, then we moved it to half an hour before. Now we're going to just move it to 2 hours before. So you just be sure, once you buy your tickets, you'll get emailed your virtual tickets 2 hours before, so you don't have to call our office and torture our staff, okay? Quick reminders. I'm wearing a mask. We are requiring everybody here, for everybody's safety, to please comply and wear your masks for each other's consideration, for our mutual safety. We are just deeply concerned to be as safe an environment as possible. So please, thank you. Dirty little secret, I've got eyes everywhere, so I can see who's naughty and who's nice, okay? So keep your masks on. Also, another consideration, please, we're going to be broadcasting these virtually. You're going to be able to see and hear them in high definition. We kindly ask that you refrain from any photography or any video work, okay? So keep your cameras put away. Put them on silent or airplane mode. No more buzzing. Thank you. And I think Dan will help close us out.
Thank you, Hugh. As Hugh said, this is the first time in 28 years that we're simultaneously live broadcasting our concerts. And this is very, very important to me to move forward in this industry. We need to do this, and you understand exactly why. So thank you, Hugh. Brendan, wherever you are, thank you. And now it is my great pleasure to invite and introduce you to Mike Fahie. He's one of my dear friends, and two others, Randy Ingram and Jeff Davis on drums. We all worked together at the United Nations International School, and it's been 18 months since I've seen these guys. And it's just great to have them here, and I wish you the greatest concert experience. So, Mike Fahie.
Need a note? Anyone need? No, I'm good. I'm good with this. Everyone tuned up? Yeah? Good. I'll take my time. No point in being dangerous with this. This is dangerous enough right here. Watch me now. Here we go. You didn't know this was part of the show. Here we go. I got it. Whoa. Oh. Jackie caught me. There we go. super thrilled to be here at the Shandelee Music Festival. And we released our debut album as this Mike Fahie Jazz Orchestra during the pandemic last August. And this is our first concert of this music since we released the album. So. We are very excited to present it for all of you. And normally in a concert like this, you'd probably just start away with the music and then get into some talking. But actually, I've found with these arrangements that people really seem to respond to them really well if they have an idea of what's going on. So with this project of Urban Urbane, I've taken classical pieces and I call it a reimagining. I've arranged them but rearranged them in some cases quite drastically to come up with using this instrument instead of whatever instrument they were originally written for. And so our first piece is a prelude by Chopin, and it is a simple piano prelude. It's only 12 measures long, and it's mostly chords. Some people call it the chordal prelude. It's not a flowing melody, just simple chords. And when I first heard this song, I thought to myself, this would be a great piece to turn into a jazz piece. Why? Because we think in chords a lot of the time. And so what I've done is I've taken the 12-bar prelude, and we play it, and I've sort of thickened it. I've made it a little more dense with, of course, we have many more instruments than just a piano. And then from there, this one is actually the one that's probably the most reimagined, because I just took the chords as a basis, and I wrote a whole new song, a whole new melody on top of it. So once you've heard the 12 first bars, which are mostly Chopin, then after that, it's mostly Mike Fahie. So I hope you enjoy it. the piano. Brian Landris on the baritone saxophone. And Jeff Davis at the drums. And now I'm going to play for you too. How about that? Our next piece is another piano, a solo piano piece actually. We're not going to play only solo piano music, but it just kind of worked out that way to start with. This is a very well-known piece by Claude Debussy, and it's called La fille aux cheveux de lin, the girl with the flaxen hair. And so I've taken this one, and again, of course, I've orchestrated it up to the large ensemble. I've added a little bit of, maybe a little bit of melancholy in with the girl, which maybe is already in there a little bit. And then she goes off on a little trip into outer space a little bit. And then hopefully you come along on this trip with us. This euphonium isn't in the best spot for me, though, I have to say. How about over here? There we go. Okay. all so much. Excuse the shuffling. The scores are kind of big, so they kind of fall off, so just doing them one at a time. All right, we're moving on to the next part of our program, a very different, we're going for some big changes here. The next piece we're going to play for you is originally a string quartet, a movement of a string quartet by Béla Bartók. And when I started this project, I knew that I wanted to have a mix of what we call classical music, but of course classical is just one era of Western traditional music, and I wanted some stuff that was more from the 20th century. And Bartók was one of the first people who spoke to me in that term because of his use of his compelling melodies and the fact that his harmonies feel tonal sometimes and feel somewhat less tonal other times. I felt there was a lot of material I could dig into, and the string quartets are some of his most fascinating work. And so I just sat down and I listened to all 6 string quartets. And actually this movement from the first string quartet was the one that really spoke to me. And the reason is, and you may or may not have heard of it, is probably the piece that I arranged that's maybe the least well-known possibly. But if you go back and listen to the original string quartet, you will hear all of these rhythms that I've put explicitly in the band. I tell you, you will hear them, the string players implying them. So there's heavy metal, there's tango, there's all kinds of things going on in this, and he wrote that in for the string players to play. So we've just expanded it and made it a little bit crazier. So here is the first string quartet by Béla Bartók. Once again for Daniel Linden at the trombone. Josh Deutsch at the trumpet. Jeff Miles at the electric guitar. Now that was quite a trip we took you on, and we're actually going to all kind of get toweled off and take a short break here. But before we do, if I will have your kind indulgence, I am an advocate of ethical musical consumption, and you've already passed the first test of ethical musical consumption by being at a musical concert. So thank you all very much for being here tonight. And you probably already all know a little bit about what's going on in the music industry, so that's why you're here tonight and why you're music lovers. But you may not realize that the majority of music that's being listened to, especially by younger people these days, is all being streamed by services such as Spotify and Apple Music and a bunch of other places like that. And those things are actually wonderful because you get to hear music you'd never be exposed to or never listen to. It's a huge, wide variety of music. But the downfall for us is that we don't get paid barely anything. The only people who get paid anything on those things are the absolute top most famous people in the world. It used to be that people could make a totally decent living just playing music and selling their CDs, and it was fine. And now that CDs are mostly going away, for the most part, we're not getting any of that, basically. You might get literally, and I'm not joking, 4 cents. Literally. 3 months of streams, 4 cents. It's really terrible. So my advocacy for ethical music loving and music listening is to use those services to find out music you love, and when you find it, find a way to support it. So that could be buying a CD, but maybe you don't have a CD player, maybe you don't. Maybe it's finding the way that you can stream it that musician makes money. For jazz music, it's Bandcamp. It's the site Bandcamp or the app Bandcamp. That's where we actually get a fair share. Or, as I'm about to point out to you, musicians have come up with other ways to support themselves, so we actually have merchandise. And it's actually wonderful. It turned out great. I asked people in the industry, what's the best thing to get? We got these t-shirts, and people in the band all wear them, so that shows you something. They're super comfortable. So Aaron is actually going to model it for you. Look at that. Look at that. If you don't like wearing t-shirts, we have tote bags. We have the album, Urban Urbane, ready for you in CD form if you're still listening in your car or at home, as many of you probably still are, and 2 of my previous CDs with smaller groups. So if you're enjoying the music, if you're having fun, it would mean a lot for us, a lot to me if you would support it. But even if you're not enjoying my music and don't want to support me, which is totally fine, my advocacy is for all musical consumption to try and help musicians survive. So thank you very much. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you. Thank you, everyone.
Drew. The saxophone. Also. Isn't that cool?
cooler about this time? All right. Do a little Fred Astaire. All right. Okay. Good thing I did that. That would have been a bad start. Sorry. Okay. So, welcome back. I'm sure that you all noticed a wide variety of moods and emotions, even in there's just a few songs we've played so far. That's one of the things that we all love about music, isn't it? The range of emotions that it can cover. And the next couple of pieces have also quite a wide range between them. And the first one is a piece by Bach. I also thought I needed to do some music by Bach in this program. And Bach is actually a challenging person to arrange, or at least to reimagine, because instead of, in classical music and later music, often you have a single melody with supporting chords, with an accompaniment that goes with the single melody. And that's not so hard to change up, because you either change a little bit on the melody, or maybe you change the chords, but it's one or the other. And it's not, I mean, you know, you have to learn how to do it, but it's not so challenging to change it up one way or another. But with Bach's music and Baroque music, the whole magic lies in the multiple lines intertwining. And when you change one or change the other, it kind of changes the music sort of fundamentally. So I really had to work sort of hard on this one to figure out how to keep the crossing the counterpoint lines and still change it. So first of all, this piece is written for two soloists and a continuo. And the first time I heard it was on a wonderful record by Wynton Marsalis and Kathleen Battle. And their sounds together are absolutely wonderful, so you should hear it. And it's called Seufzer, Tränen, Kummer, Not, which translates to sighs, tears, grief, distress. And the rest of the words are anxious longing, fear, and death. Gnaw at my oppressed heart. I feel misery, pain. So you get an idea of what kind of light piece this is, right? And Bach's treatment of it is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful and full of grief and longing. But he didn't have all of this to work with, nor did he have the several centuries of music that have happened since he was playing. So we've taken all of his anxiety and fear and pain, and we've just amped it up a little bit more and gone more into even like a little bit of madness. So come along on this anxious trip, and hopefully by hearing it, the music will help you relieve all of your anxiety. Into madness on that one. And so we're going to give you a bit of a break emotionally on this next one. This next one, there's actually a misprint in the program, so if you want to get out your Sharpies and fix them up right now for posterity, this is not another piece by Bartók. This is actually Tchaikovsky. Bartók didn't write 6 symphonies. This is Tchaikovsky's sixth symphony, known as the Pathétique. And this was actually the first piece that I arranged for this project. And the reason I did it is because this movement of Tchaikovsky's 6th Symphony is in the meter of 5/4. It's in the part of a symphony when you normally have something that's in 3/4, that is sort of either a waltz feeling or some sort of 3. And he manages to write this beautiful melody that is in 5/4, but still has that same sort of waltz feeling to it. And it always sort of fascinated me. From the very first time I heard it, I said, wait, at first it just feels like it's in 3/4, but then suddenly there's too many beats, and you're like, wait a second, is that an odd number of bars? What is it? And then I learned it, and I checked it out, and I said, well, what's the best way to learn how to do that? And I said, well, I'm going to write an arrangement of it, and that sort of was the germ of this project. So this one is the most, should I say, the most true to the original. It's the least reimagined, should we say. A lot of Tchaikovsky's material with just a little extra big band stardust in there. So, oh, by the way, if I may, one more time, please, on the trumpet, David Smith on that last one. And as always, spurring us on to greater heights of madness, Jeff Davis at the drums. So here we go, the second movement of Tchaikovsky's 6th Symphony, the Pathétique. Here's for Aaron Irwin at the alto saxophone. And Nick Grinder at the trombone. Now this next one is, if the other ones weren't unusual, well, this one's unusual. So, not necessarily in content, but in character, perhaps. So this next one is the finale movement of Stravinsky's Firebird, possibly his most famous piece, and a piece that's just ripe. It has so much material in it that you can play around with and all those things. And so what's sort of funny is, of course, the Firebird is a ballet and it has a story. The Firebird is some sort of like a wood spirit, something like that. But I hear the word Firebird and I think of something very different. I think of Firebird as like a dragon. Right? So our Firebird is a dragon, and our Firebird uses Stravinsky's music, but it tells a very different story. So what you're going to hear at the beginning, you're going to hear maybe a ray of light, some sort of sunshine, something that's going to wake up our dragon that's been slumbering for who knows, maybe 1,000 years it's been slumbering, and it'll slowly wake up, and you'll hear Randy take over and play the dragon's song, the dragon's call. He wakes up and he sings his little song. And then the whole band takes over and sings the song again. And this is now the dragon stretching out and flashing his shiny scales and showing his sharp claws and his deadly teeth. All of those things, we hear that with all that. But guess what happens after he's been sleeping for 1,000 years? The dragon's hungry. And so now the dragon has to go and fly and hunt. And then now we've got Quinson, who's going to be our hunting dragon. And you're going to hear him soaring and swooping and finding the hunt. But then when he's successful with that, we move on, and when a dragon's been sleeping for 1,000 years and is sated, well, suddenly the dragon realizes that he's lonely, right? And so now we have the dragon's lament. And the dragon's lament is going to be, I decided it had to be something otherworldly. So first of all, the dragon can sing with two voices at once, because of course it can. And the dragon's voice sounds like the tuba and the euphonium put together. Actually, just as a little aside, one of my friends texted me recently and said, congratulations for including the first ever euphonium tuba battle in a jazz band. So we're going to mark that one up for history. But once the lament is done, the dragon remembers what it is, the great majestic creature that it is, and we take it out with the great finale that Stravinsky wrote of the Firebird. That's quite a journey, isn't it? What a beautiful dragon. We've got one more for you tonight, and before we do, I've got a whole bunch of names to throw at you, so there's definitely going to be a quiz out in the lobby later, so see how many of you can remember. So I'm going to tell you, first of all of the musicians in this band. There's no way that this music could come to life the way it does without them. They're super hardworking, super tireless, very wonderful people to be around, and also, by the way, incredible musicians. So I'll introduce them section by section, and we can applaud each section. So the saxophones, Brian Landris, Quinson Natchoff, Aaron Irwin, Anton Denner, Chet Doxas. The saxophones. My good friends, the trombone section. We've got Jennifer Wharton, Daniel Linden, Matt McDonald, and Nick Grinder, the trombones. And supplying the power tonight, the trumpet section, we've got Josh Deutsch, Sam Hoyt, Brian Paresci, and David Smith, the trumpets. And the wonderful rhythm section, starting with Evan Gregor at the bass, oh yeah, give it. Why not? One at a time. Evan. You've already met Jeff Davis at the drums. Jeff Miles at the guitar. And there's a whole lot of thank yous to give, but there's a huge thank you to my good friend Randy Ingram at the piano. Watch, this is all going to segue. It's going to be amazing. So Randy was our technical wizard and genius who helped so much set up and get all of the stuff together for the live stream. So thank you for that. And the live stream was put together by Hugh Sung. Hugh, thank you so much. I wanted to point out that we have actually a charter member of this band. This band has been together for, almost 18 years. And he got super busy and has been traveling all over the world and has become a wonderful, famous trombone player. And he's here tonight. Ryan Keberly, where are you? Where'd you go? Where is he? There he is. Thanks for being here. Ryan is your neighbor. Ryan is your neighbor. So there's world-class musicians living right next door. Also, and of course, I mean, we couldn't be here without the Shandelee Music Festival. We're so thrilled to be here and so thankful. So Dan Stroup, thank you so much for having us here. And to the rest of the staff and everyone working here at Shandelee, we've been treated like kings and queens. So we thank them all. Thanks so much. And thank you all for being here with us, without which we wouldn't have a concert. Thank you all. And now for our final piece. I want to say the right year. I think it was 2004. Was that the Torino Olympics? I think it was. The 2004 Torino Olympics. I happened to be on the road touring with a big band and in a hotel room during the, I believe, the closing ceremonies. And my best friend in the world happened to be with me there. And we said, we'll watch this together because we were on the road together. And we sat down and we watched, and Luciano Pavarotti sang his aria, Nessun Dorma. He sang it, and it was an otherworldly performance. Right now, I have chills. Right now, I have chills. When it happened, my friend and I, we sat closer to each other, and we were just, I was in tears watching it. I mean, you think at the moment, he's representing Italy. This is his country with their music. And he has this long and storied career, and he delivered it as well as he'd ever delivered it. And by the way, which of course we didn't know at the time, it was his last public performance before he passed. It was a very, very emotional thing, and emotional for me. And so, of course, as I was doing this project, that moment came to mind so many times, and I said, I have to do Nessun Dorma. And who better to take the lead of the tenor opera than the tenor saxophone? And so we're going to feature Chet Doxas on Nessun Dorma. around here somewhere. I'm sure I can find one. I have a marker or a pen or something around. If you'd like me to sign your CD or something like that, I'll be hanging around in the lobby after. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a good night, everybody.